betul. Kerja sih.
Record het wel.
Terima kasih.
I think the connection is a little slow.
Ja, tangan sebelah sudah. Ah, itu. Tangan sebelah. Oke, itu. Oh, hello, hello.
Hi.
So, welcome everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome everyone here to Shide. And so, I would like to you already know, but the place. Okay, now we have more fun, isn't it? Here today is a group of geshes, right? And so these are some of the geshes here in Shide. And so these are a group of geshes that really, after their 23 years of studies in the Buddhist philosophy and psychological tests, and so they really wish to benefit others through their knowledge, like telling a little bit of thoughts on how to really overcome some, daily challenges and try to find the daily, I don't know, the daily well-being and how to overcome the difficulties in daily practice. Okay, so we have here some Dharma classes. We have also Tibetan classes and also yoga classes that is gonna start next week, and just like English and so forth. Okay, and so this is Shide, and Geshe Tsering Samdrup. He's also from Tibet, Chango, and. All of this Geshe group is all of them. They're from Chango, okay. And now after his graduation, Geshe Lharampa, the highest degree of Geshe, he stayed 1 year last year with us, and now he's back to the south. Okay.
So the date. Yes, yes, yes. Hello. Oh yeah. 네, 니바테 나서 소티 삼서 더럽지 있으라. 나 좀좀 시바 많이 봐라. 네, 결혼서 삼서 갈이었다. 네, 나서 티고니 당이시나 저도 니 럼주 가르치면서 노충군을 먹게 되라. 땡고는 지서 도도마도 딜리젠비게 요치 딘데게 시연다고도 요 드리가 냐뇨도 요말 람주도 요말 딘다나 강시바티 노충군이래 디당에 고토도 간디간디 요미도 계시도
And this brief talk, and also after our questions and answers, it's gonna be if you can, and then yes, and then thank you, and so the where all my talk here and also the ideas that I share with you, where they come from. And so usually they come from, most of them, they come from my studies of Tibetan Buddhism and philosophy, okay? So it comes from this background. And but of course, like all of us, we have different backgrounds, different knowledge and so forth. So today is not just myself like sharing my knowledge in Tibetan philosophy and in Buddhist
수지탕 이제 선다오지는 소소가 디치체도 전혀 제대로 했어서 디치체라 탐실을 지금 리가제나라 가르체나 럽교제나라 가르이나 소소를 디치체 쪽에 탑시디 맞아 소마게 제대로 했어.
And it's not that just us, just we want to be happy, isn't it? Like all of us sentient beings, like even the small ant or small insects, they all want to be happy, isn't it? And all of us, we always look for methods to achieve this happiness. And so, but we have even like more knowledge in order to use in our human discrimination to how to apply a good method in order to achieve the possible. It's very difficult to find someone that doesn't wish well-being, I think, right?
그래서 디치만도케가 맞이요나 다테마도 상지 제세게
Kanza?
디치만도케가 맞이요나 다테 스이나 하고 말이죠.
Yes, I actually don't know who doesn't want to be happy, isn't it?
예, 나도 그동안 저기 리가도자 디치옹하게 리카츠 레고레티 이나 뜨니빠가 나오기도 마시네. 근데 같이 이나 등을 자 어쨌든 잘했어.
Since early morning when we wake up, we want to be happy in that day, isn't it? Our own problems that end in the that last in the end of the day.
가르잖아 가서 아니 등원도 생애 경스 등원도 매바서고 사니 선호도 열에디 있나요? 등을 지나면 버티지. 같이나 등을 그 제정이 도셔서
And all of us, we really want to block or to avoid any problem, isn't it? But I want to be happy. I want to be happy. But what I do, I just I just block, I just cut all the causes of my own happiness.
당아서 제동 디완도 시빈도 비디와지로 나 디완도 제가 디와데 가르 동보팅 원소고 요레스.
So, but first of all, what we have to do then? So we have to recognize what is the happiness or what is the well-being that all of us we wish.
가르치는 디아올이 가르치는 등응문이 나서 하마거니 아니 녀타디 연구.
Because actually, if you don't identify or if you don't recognize what actually is suffering that we don't want, so all of the activities that we try to cultivate our happiness, like we will not know, right? How
디와든 더나 엔도구도 제 되게 jel라셔지 버렸어. 자한드지나 디와데 용두세 jel라서 동고요레스.
So I want to be happy. Okay. And happiness is a result. Okay. It's a fruit. It's a result of something. So we have to know where is the cause of the happiness that we want.
당아서 등은도 말아.
We don't want to suffer, isn't it?
등어도 자와 가르치나 tel레테니 등어도 정도세 등어가 jet성 동고요레스.
Yeah. So we don't want to suffer and we want to be happy. So first of all, we have to understand the cause of the proper happiness.
근데 나서 노바 성지바가 정부는 마시안도디 다 등어 먼저나 먼저 등어도 모시니 근데 그 등어들 제여도 매 다지도
And so, and also, like, we have to understand what is the suffering, or like, what is the not well-being that we don't want, and then we go to where does this come from, and then we have to identify the cause of the suffering, and then we, after identify the cause of the suffering, then we can check if it's possible or not to get rid of this cause.
다 등어들 제여나 제들은 여한도 제여사지래도 오늘 여한도 제 메시지래서 정치지래서.
So this suffering or this problem that we have, so there is a cause. And then we understand that this cause is changeable or not changeable. This we have to check.
다들 다 가지 등어를 좀 매바지로. 지여 좀 제들은 여한도 좀 매나 아니 가서 사서 등어니와 대야마도 디어도 덜어요 말이야.
Okay, after we identify our problem, and then okay, finally we identify the cause, and the cause has no way to change, so we have nothing to do.
다 등어들의 제여바지 제들은 여한도 지여나 아니 가서 등어도 매바서 디와도 좀 덜어대 아니 지나 라지요레스.
But if our problem, yes, come from a cause, and this cause is changeable, we can change it. So yes, finally we have something to do to avoid our problems.
배나 가서 아니 느리자는 고나오지 나바이나 나름 고다네.
Oh, chuto.
아니 고나 이나라 단 고고 나자테 가를 때는 데라 고고 나자테라 아니 제여사지레 메사지레 제체 가를 때니 기스타네. 단 고고 나자테라 제체 요파 하거나 아니 멤발 때니 메바서 두다.
So, for example, let's take an example of my headache. Now I'm with a headache, okay? And so I'm in headache, and so I have to know, okay, this headache here has a cause or doesn't have a cause? And this cause is changeable or not?
우리 레바 잡아 사서
Yes, I think my brain is a little bit like burning maybe today because I'm teaching class.
당가서 등어게 제들라 마타파레 디치지레 녀와르야스지레스. 이게 가서 등어 삼러지버지야 또베 설레강을 제거하지 민도스. 메아가르스 등어 그 제들
need to be unpleased and unhappy when we are under the force or under the influence of this problem.
다 안에 가서 등어 절은 저와 또 지요나 등어 제대 미타바 차대요라. 얘에 가서 지 등어 친주지라는 성저지니까 소소소가 노도 전부 지기니 또바 전부 지기니 아니 되게 등어들이야 치리 동고하지 민도스. 오 등어들 거 매바서 하신 동안에 성노들 어디 안 소소가 농고 노도도 추리로 노도도 추리로디 등어한테 추리로 그래서.
because because the problem comes from a cause which is changeable, which is impermanent or unstatic, non-static problem. And so because the problem has this nature, so we don't need to be unpleased or don't need to be worried about it. And if we are not worried about it, and so we don't create all of the all the fears, and we don't fantasize, or we don't create all the biggest scenes and all the biggest catastrophes in our lives. We don't need to do this, because when we are under the force of the problem, if you understand, oh, it's okay because it's changeable, it's gonna change this problem, so we don't create all the causes that after make us so unpleasant, so worried. And actually, all of us in this planet, or in this life, in this samsaric life, or in life in suffering, all of us, we have problems. Like, there's nobody without problem, okay? And that's it, and simple. So either like we have problem of, oh, I'm unhappy, or I'm lonely, or I don't have money, or I don't have some external structure. All of us, we have some problems, and each of us, we have our own problems, and we know what is our problem. What do you think? You have like any problem or suffering or not? Is anyone here without any problem? Anyone liking problems here? I wish to see.
Questions, no problems. Only questions, no problems.
Actually, if we don't have any problem, so we lost the chance to practice patience. You see, so bad.
So that's why I have questions.
At least for me, in my case, I have problems. I have suffering. But I really perceive my problems and my sufferings as very small. I don't perceive them as big.
If I have a problem, if I have no problems, does that mean I am now the Buddha?
Yeah, it seems like.
Just kidding, just kidding.
It's okay. Ani kelsinga kangel mena donda nga sangire des. Yes. Ani karisa donda nga so sangire. Well, for example, you say that if I don't have problems, so it means that I am Buddha. Well, Buddha was a person, right? And so there is also a person that they don't have problems if they already achieved the state of Buddhahood, right? But before achieving Buddhahood, the Buddha was a person with also problems and so forth. So what he taught us, what he showed us, is that all of us, even with problems, all of us, we have the opportunity, we have a way to really suppress or to deal with the problems until to achieve that state of completely non-problems or non-suffering. Because all of us actually, we have capacity to achieve the state of Buddhahood or non-problems at all. Okay, so there is nobody without suffering, you said, right? So another question for you. So is there any person who is there anyone who doesn't have happiness? Any happiness at all, any well-being at all? Is there anyone like that?
Wow, that's a tough question.
미성마다 간리는 지나면 서이나
What do you think? Anyone can answer.
I think we all have some kind
That's a
of
common
happiness. Like
She's
my
like-
opinion, how I see things is we all have some sort of happiness inside of us. And maybe someone, if someone doesn't have it all, it just didn't reach it.
Ah,
It can't get to it.
They cannot
For some
connect to it.
reason.
ane kilsi ane dewa mingyo mi dawuyona. Chichena ane shemba ni dewa rang yo mares yamena drelam dawani chetu kimindus. Ine anga nikula ni dekhi yote yore. Ani kange liang yote yore. Anyone? Yes.
Just as the interpreter, to clarify your question, do you mean anyone here that in this room that
No.
doesn't have the whole world?
Well, I had a time in my life where I used to think I didn't have any happiness, but I think at the end of the day we all have Buddha nature, right? So even if we might think we have no happiness, we all have Buddha nature deep down, so everyone has happiness. Yeah.
Niman chigla mga ni samlo kare korson sena pesa zon pelcher da ngaina kinen tekio samares ngangmenet samlo korda korsons ine adi jela ine angas ansangi rira ni gula rigores de masonsa ta kemidos ngasangi riyo masonsa zani dungal gachaga dungal yopagi kansara mares dina shin simche tamche yangs dungal yona yang riki yosan ta kemidos.
여보. 세상시계가 롱소소.
Yes, it's good to have
That's all.
understanding about this.
링어제 소소를 춘추지요나 데라 나토게 전부 주서 잘했어. 데니 소소도 붙이면 잘했어.
Yes, actually it's very important to understand that all of us do have problems. The problems exist. But actually because of our overthinking mind or that mind that projects and overproject false or inexistent scenarios, they actually create the proper problems. Okay? Here there is one question. Tista, you can make it?
Yeah, I was thinking about what about people who have depression? They do feel like they don't have any happiness, right?
아니 심심파. 미카시 심심파 나자 슈심포도아. 콘소 치안데키 마레스 콘소 팅이도아. 디콜라 카리로리.
소소 세자 맞죠 되더라. 그 삼바 지니 나를 찍고요 사마레. 나 강을 지면서 나를 득부치지마도 치님도 세자 되레스. 소소 디아치고레스. 강을 요 말에 정말 요 콜이 요 말이 요 정말 요. 이데 나치부 세자가 미도아세. 그거 같이 바르도 아사니. 뭐던지 직접 그 선호도 레고티 삼바야 식침부레. something
Yeah, actually those with depression, usually they have depression because they think, oh, all the sufferings are in my own world, all sufferings is in my head and so forth. Nobody else besides me have so much suffering and so forth. But actually, like he doesn't know how to really count, how to really define the suffering in his own life. Like he has to understand that actually everyone else have problems. So, but he feels that just himself is suffering or has this suffering. So actually, he also has to check like, yeah, well, it's not just me that I have this problem. Actually, others have also problems.
nga pichanishi nga rochira nga ro pichanishi nga chuzul ta nga chob shore mangol stala medu injikele shi medu ane chi cholo kaza kala legi medu sanga nga ro samba macho dedi samba churi ndo ne pe chuzunya da geje shemani wato ngote mani chandu yo ma su ma pajang da.
For example, let's take myself as an illustration, okay? So for example, myself, I have no money at all. I don't even have hair in my head, right? And I don't speak any other language. I cannot communicate with all of you. I cannot go everywhere just like you. So just because of this, so I'm nobody because I don't have money. I can't communicate. I cannot go everywhere like them and so forth. And then I become so sad and so depressed and so forth. That's no point for this, isn't it? Just because I don't have all of these qualities.
That thing at the Nijimatinera, Marasamba Makia de Caso, Magic Pace, my injike machine and a poke yapishio, puishio, no chushio. And I'm going to stand there, Chimida, as a letter you Malichi Habachimido, so sono toti, so some she level. This is a Pajamadia, maybe so shall.
But then I don't think like that. What I think is, well, I'm not poor actually. I'm very rich because even though I don't speak English, I speak Tibetan. And not only I don't speak Tibetan, but I know Buddhist philosophy. And okay, I don't have hair, it's true. But hey, what's the difference if I have hair and if you guys have hair and I don't have hair? Like, what is this difference? Like, there's no point in putting so much attention in this difference. So when I really see that, well, this difference, like, is not that big deal, and then I can really like bring my confidence back to myself. Wow, I know few things, and that's enough for me.
Then nga so so la ji kan ji o ki tere nga ma to pa chi jen ba la ne jong yo ma re so nga la ji ma du pa re se ne nga zi shi chen ba ji te ka na to ya dron to se me ji na to ze ya dron to shi chi ri zo te ka nga so so ma jo so sha re se te nga na on do te ko len do te ri ji ne so lo to te kan yo sa su je so ma na kan yo re ke bo yo mo bo yo re ri ji ne so lo to na ban da nya ji le go te su ga se ma sha ga pa sha ga ti me ba chang do ra.
Usually when we think, right, oh, just myself had these problems, all the problems, all the sufferings is here with me, just me is suffering, just me is just myself, I'm the poorest, I'm the more stupid, I am nobody, and so forth, just me. So this very selfish mind that we have so strong, because out of this selfish mind, then we react like, oh yes, just myself, I don't have, just me, they have more and I don't have, and so forth. All of this increasing this mind that increase this selfish mind, you know, that those voices that say, oh yes, because of this, bring all of the reasons to increase that selfish mind and then to perceive that oneself is really the poorest in the world. All of these are the overthinking mind or the ruminating thoughts. And so out of these ruminating thoughts that actually we react and then we feel depressed or we feel bad and so forth. But actually we don't need to cultivate or to keep feeding these ruminating thoughts or to carry on with the overthinking attitude. And so if you don't do this, and so we avoid all of those problems that we cultivate here. I'm gonna tell you one story.
아버지도 메라. 당고서 봐 버섯 봐 냠 당은 오로 롱시려고도 선이 독안에만 충분하다. 독안에만 좀. 독안에만 주로
tampo lapa tu.
코로 라바지 메라. 라바 체는.
알레레레.
라바지도 체는 당고서 마마치니. 코로 마치니. 당한 라바지도 돌아노도 당 아까는 첨벌에 선 삼바 버섯도 마치. 다 딜링아 롱시려나 가서레서니 독안에만 충분하랬어. 충분하 메탈 올때 문이잖아요. 라바니가 메게지 그랬어. 쯤쯤 되더라. Anche sono toni, oh, la panica me che di tipo che non alla pacci doas. Anche so ji apene. Ani ko roshi ma ja di shin. That muni to join am shi. In the same period.
Yes, and so I have this story that is there was a person without one arm. Okay, there was a person without one arm. And then he was so unpleased and so sad with himself and so depressed because he couldn't do everything that he wanted out of the lack of one arm. And so he planned his own suicide. And then he went up to the building in order to jump and to commit suicide, right? And when he reached the rooftop and when he was up there, and then he looked down and when he looked down, he saw one person very happy without both arms. So there was one person without both arms, like really, like enjoying his life. When he saw from the rooftop of the building right before he jumped, and then wow, I can't believe like what I'm about to do with my life. I just don't have one arm. I still have another arm, and so no, I'm not doing this. And so actually, this is a story that I already heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's still, I think it's really bring me, at least when I hear this story, bring me lots of confidence.
아니 고산적은 일이 있어요. 내가 이 동네를 고산적으로 들 보라. 들 보면이
Lokasar?
이 동네를.
Nito.
그래서 고녀야.
I don't know if some of you heard about it, but in 2000, there was a tentative of poisoning His Holiness Dalai Lama. Have you heard about it? On the 2000, in the year 2000, there was an attempt. Actually, they put poison in the food of His Holiness Dalai Lama, and then he became poisoned. It was during one Kala Chakra teachings in Bodh Gaya. And because of eating this poison in 2000, so he was about to teach Kala Chakra teachings, and because of this, of course, he became sick and he couldn't teach.
Today, any Kosanjope, Naza Shichim Toyasra, Tejunga. The Naza Shichim Tok, the Nikos, the Go Karate Dudana, Jago Kumbora and Sandra, the Yakaka, Gingo, Nepachimbo, Chindolos. Till the sound of the Tony could till that they could Jabber, Naza Chindotina, Yonkendo, Kala Tringendo, Chasondo. Oh, Ozendoa, Saudi, Tachitika, Shutika.
And then His Holiness was, of course, because he just ate that poison, and so he was very painful in his stomach and so forth. And but then in that moment, he usually used to tell us that in that moment that I was really in a very bad state. I recollect one very old man on the top of the Vulture's Peak, in the surroundings of Bodh Gaya. And there was those very old and sick people that they all the time were very sick, and nobody helping them and nothing. And still, His Holiness recollected what he was thinking. And I myself, even though I have this very strong poison here and it's so painful, but still, I have so many people helping me, giving me medicine or giving me food and clothes and so forth. And so, if I compare with him, with that old man in the peak of Vulture's Peak, my disease, this sickness or this pain is not that strong. So it's like that, I think we have all to practice this example. That is, all of us have problems, but usually we perceive our problems as the only or the biggest problems in the world. But actually, we have to keep comparing ourselves with others that do have as many or even more problems than us. Because when we do recollect this reality, that others have more or bigger problem than us, then immediately we don't keep increasing that sensation of our problem, and actually on the opposite, that sensation of problems that we have, we just relax a little bit, we cool down the second sensation of problem. So all of the problems that we experience in our daily routine, the suffering or problems that we experience, we have to understand what is the cause of this problem, where this problem comes from. And usually, or most of the time, or all of the times, the cause of all of our problems is that sensation of me is so important, that selfish mind that is so strong here. And so that selfish mind that is so present here, then how to change that, to weak that selfish mind, this is where we have to put attention. Yes, actually, all the time we are, I am so important. I want to be happy. I don't deserve this. I don't want problems and so forth. All the time, this I so strong, isn't it? So for this reason, when someone just tell us one bad word or criticize us a little bit, sometimes it's just a tiny critic, a tiny bad word, a tiny bad actions against us, immediately we become so offended. So, and our world is completely destroyed. Like we feel like we destroy our world, and then immediately we become so sad, isn't it? For example. Okay, let's take example of here in this class. If I look at each of you, and then I say, oh, you are very ugly, okay? And you also are very ugly. You are even worse. Oh, and you are ugly, and you are ugly. How would you feel? How would you feel? And you guys at home also, okay? If it's true, I'll never be mad, he said.
She's answering that would feel normal, absolutely. But if he says that I'm a bad Buddhist, I will feel normal.
Kelsinga dungelinas ani digitus kemi dunga sempap gimares. Ina kelsinga nampa dukcha chupa dukcha ina lana. Oh, that's sempap gimares.
Yeah, so I have a funny story. Like, because I'm very tall, since I ordained, I get mistaken for a lama a lot. So people
Wow, it's a good.
always go, oh, lama la, you know, and obviously it's quite funny, you know, and I started wondering, should I be offended by this or not?
To be mistaken by a lama?
For a lama.
Oh.
I think she's a man.
Lama can be a woman, that's it.
Yeah, but they think I'm a monk.
Okay.
So for me, you know, I was wondering like, oh, is it that bad or not? But then, you know, I realized it doesn't affect me so much anymore.
Že penaranga ni se popeji podwa ani nga rapchun drunera ani zone mi be mambo nga ni chapa this tudro sonsra ani kakala konso kolam la sora ina chapa kolara ani oh lama testele mena chapa ra kushu ani testele la bkiduzra ani kakabla kola ani nanga ani dwa ani akoso kushu lama la bkidwa sa ani kakala ni ga simpab gide yemena long la giduz anta yusha china da kemi duzra kizanga ani res
다 되는다. 리치 사무치도. 다요 나서마 저서 소마 나바 야포 나마 저서 소마 야포래. 저서 가리가 말.
라
소마 저서 아마 베야포 나바 야포 드릴라나 저서 가리라.
And also maybe if I praise you guys, oh, you're very good Buddhist, you're very beautiful, oh, you're very good, and so forth. I think you like, isn't it?
게라니? 다
Of course, right? Of course.
넘바 넘메relana 소자 마가발레도. 야포relana요 갈레도. 이츠마 가르티데는 딱 그랬어.
Yeah, it's like that. And so just because like we become offended or sad because someone criticizes us, or we become very happy because someone praises us, why is it like that? Where this offensive sensation, or how to say, the praise sensation, the praising, the happiness sensation that it brings, where does this come from?
Clinging to the self. Clinging to the self and what we think our identity is. Yeah, so thinking, already thinking, oh, I am a woman, therefore I expect people to see me this way, or I think I'm a good Buddhist, so I expect people to think this way.
아니 닥싱 레추요 사레스 닥싱 코란첸진 라비오 사레라 아니 란첸진 요 사레 카리친세나 페나가 pumoins quando tsama ninga pumores so hakogores nga tengidwa ya menanga chupains ding paso quando tsama ne o kera ani ya pores quando trengores ani trengores ni samgi ini angyum sendi ni ranchen lechu
데 다당가서 단세도로 진전이 기능으로 제번서 같을 정도요 그랬지만 나 지셔버지 있어도요라다 배나 나라서 소망가 야 다시 지여서로 뭐도 주 야부미도 어디자를로네 나 야부요 섬디가 폼을 주랬어 어디가 있어서 난제도 단제도 런신전이 기능이 다다데 모치야다 런신젤 되어서
So first of all, we have to understand to differentiate two kinds of ignorance, like the clinging to the inherent self, and also that mind that really apprehend us as the most precious person or individual in the world. So there are these two. So the selfish mind, and also that mind who clings to the outer or independent or inherent self. Okay. Usually this mind that become offended when someone criticizes us, or become too puffed, when someone praise us, this actually comes from the selfish mind. Okay.
네, 저로서 성공가리도 갈라. 요 아딜라나 콜 츠바자는 로서 자와니 트레고 말이지. 가르 트레오네 럽쇼라.
But please, while I'm answering here or sharing my ideas here, please don't just agree or whatever. Just leave it like that. Please debate with me and bring me more questions, okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
In Buddhism, you always say like you need to release attachment and like always release attachment, but then how are you alive? How do you connect with people? Like how do you care? Like why is it so important to do that? Really, why do you, or yeah, I ask myself like why everybody wants to be enlightenment, like why is it important, like really?
Okay, it's okay. It's a good question. Reng mune ani karichini ani kadina nancho dinara. Kadina docha churu dogore karichini docha churu dogora. Kaisana da kilsi ngaso docha menara. Docha menan jelang kadrezo gores. Ngaso mishema kades jelam yemena drezo gores ra. Na mune kapkala kadina ni sangi kopanto gore ngaso samani zobejanju to gore chichi karichini da donda kareyore. Nga mune ngarana ni pema po tigis.
저런 게 발라도 아마라 선라침보 이었다네라.
Chikchigla.
저로를 걸어라 봐.
Kotan pamani.
저러고 밤마다 저러서 선라침보 이어메라.
Do you have good relationship with your parents?
여라. 너 자원기 들어와지 전에 가는 건 들어와지.
Pamani chikchigla yana kogi tan pamani.
코농게 파마니리안 들어와요. 인도와도 가르치는 용도라.
Ale. So you have this good relationship with your parents, right? Do you have this good relationship with your parents out of your attachment? Do you think so?
What do you mean? Like, yeah, I love to spend time with them. Like, I
저로
love to
파마니를
see them
씌워요,
as
그래서.
humans, like,
So you like,
appreciate them.
but it's out of your attachment that you like to be with them, or how do you think or it's just pure love?
배나 파마니 그 저로를 씌워요, 그래서. 저로 파마니를 씌워요, 그래서. 들어와요, 그래서. 이나디 너 잘해 말이라.
For example, your parents do love you, right? You do love your parents. So you have this relationship. Do you think that this relationship between among you and your parents are out of attachment or not? What do you think? Just thoughts.
Maybe, yeah, we are attached. We are my parents, I can them, like,
Kaisana consolation.
I think so.
지와도 너 차도 쳐봐요, 그래서.
Actually, there is a difference between attachment and love.
아니, 지와 맺은 너 차 매봐서니 지와 맺으서나 아니 들어와치. 문이래 말 걸어서 하는지 말. 이나 지와도 너 차를 쳐봐요, 그래서. 이내 가서 파마 펜스 지와를 맞은 너 차마라. 너 차 참아 이남시다요. 아주 역사라니.
So yes, we have to understand the difference between love and attachment, okay? And if we get rid of our love in order to get rid of attachment, then it's true whatever you said. Then there's no reason to have no way to have any relationship. But the point is, when you get rid of attachment, doesn't mean that you get rid of love. Just let me okay, just wait, because he didn't finish talking yet. I'm just him in another form, you know. and so actually, when you get rid of attachment and still there's love, and so out of love we have this relationship. And so, for example, with your parents. So you with your parents with you, this relationship mostly is based on love. Of course, maybe there is a little bit of attachment, a very tiny attachment. This I don't know, but mostly it's out of love. Okay. What was your question?
So what is this attachment?
That's only the check.
How it's like,
The check. يعني the chat and see when ki mo ta kipa this samaya.
and that one,
Dice que lo
Me too. I don't know the language.
아니 지신아니 두차탕 세왕 다 기울어 소니 두시게 그래서 나 히브리 디 이스라엘
How the attachment is limited in my life, in my everyday. Like, why is it so like make my life hard?
아니 조차니 두차라 나 두차니 주로 두그레 되기다 이모선가니 두차 카레 칸드레스 두차디 칸드레스 나라누기 두스라 칸드레스 냐 이미테디 기보마이 바다오 차두기레스 나 두차
도착 하는 노래라.
두차 기억나
깔리 카세트 쉐고다.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about this slowly.
디
It's coming,
모니카
it's coming.
그래서 정직님이 제거래서 도착도
About enlightenment. It was also good.
What?
There was another question about enlightenment. It was also a good question. Why people look for enlightenment?
네.
Because it's a good question.
아니 그런 게 티와 니퍼라 가르치니 처음에 상게 고방하니 투야도 파요레스라 어디 티와 야쁘데스.
공개 저 앞에 야버레스. 그래서 very good.
Very good question, isn't it?
가르제나 도착도 지와데 모니 김지데니. 맞아 키버시도 좀 말했어. 나가말 다자도 마마페 노리오. 도착이나 지와는 도착레스. 저 지와뉴지 심보세든 도착레스. 이 군일 개발만 도전에 세정이 뭔고요. 이나 와서 뜨니버 개발시고 싫어. 지와 다치도는 지와들은 도착이 좀 지와지도 니지기 좀 지와래도. 이든 도착이 좀 지와도 또 뉴지기 좀 지와니 로카시도 보시. 대틀 정군도 마시래 지인군이 집은 주군이 집은 뭐군이 집을送다. 무슨 요래서. 이 갈릴레 점지전은 시그래서.
Well, actually, yes, it's true that many people, or most of us, we don't know how to differentiate love and attachment. Even at the time of Buddha, they why we have to get rid of attachment, otherwise it's gonna also dispels our love and so forth. It's just out of ignorance how not to differentiate. They don't know the difference between love and attachment, because actually there is attachment that comes together with love, and there is there is one relationship that comes together with the love and together with attachment. So we have to understand what is the difference. And actually, in the Buddhist philosophy and psychological texts, how do we present and we do understand the difference between love and love, compassion, and attachment, either from the cause, like there is different causes, different results, and different essence.
이바데 상지비게 정례 노라. 동본에 도착 매바 조쇼스는 도착 김 가요 말이지. 갈릴레가 도착도 도바 첨부 맞제스. 도바 시 첨부 제소나 아니 되게 녀다 가면 강가다 제대로래서.
And so when Buddha said, so you have to reduce your to get rid of attachment. He didn't say get rid of attachment at all at once. He didn't say this. He said slowly, so at least to reduce a little bit of the strength of attachment. Yeah, and to reduce a little bit the strength of attachment means to have less desires, to have more contentment. He didn't say, he said to reduce desires. He didn't say get rid of desires. Didn't 제가 이 말했어. 아니, ngargel color. 아니, Amanda, your question, just wait. My question is, are we able to investigate and ask ourselves, who is this I who received or hearing the praise as part of our practice? Oh yeah, sorry. So there is one question here. So regard to the praise. For praise, okay? So when someone is praising us. So my question is, are we able to investigate and ask ourselves, who is this I who received or who is hearing the praise as part of our practice?
아니 저동년도 차도 지와니 저버도 시도 제제고다. 나중에 또 되게 그만 시주스는 시도요 말에. 이거 다다기가 아니 마시오도 동본이 just 정말로 능은도에 능은면서 순신도에 제가 좋아지지 동요스. 이거 디와면서 순신도에 제가 좋아니 동요스. 저동가 띵는 거는 시한도 상여스라.
He'll not answer now this question, okay? But just it's coming, Amanda, no worries. So I told you about, like, you asked me about to differentiate these two minds, and also I asked you right in the beginning, like, what do you think there is anyone that has no suffering at all? And also ask if there is anyone that has no happiness at all. So in order to differentiate these, right? So these where this come from, and how can we identify this? So let's talk about this. Because actually to differentiate love and compassion in more deep way, maybe we take a little bit longer than just 1 minute.
다 나서 숨쉬 선다오지는 대화의 진주를 등의 진주지요래. 요래디 지 소소가 등의 자와 전부 지제는 소소를 만들고 때 살마지와티 소소를 차바 도차 어디에서 거기서 하는지 그러나 차바데 간디 간거 땡도나 미치 그 동네에라서 러서산마 세마죠 그러나 차바 달라 다 차바 하고다 이거서 되고 그래서 다음에 지금 야부지래라서 그러네요 다 지금 도차디야 시치리도 에티가 뭐지 도차티용이 공조래 도차티용이 나제래 도차티용이 차도래 도차티용이 뇨타 간가데 좀 잘했어 자와 도차티데도
Actually, all of us, we have this selfish mind, or that mind that really thinks that I, me is the most important. More, I need happiness. I need to have the best. I need to be the best, and so forth. I. And so, actually, we have this attachment towards ourselves. We have this attachment of, we are too attached to this I, ourselves, to this I that we build, right? And out of this attachment that we are attached to ourselves, that we consider ourselves so precious, then we really like and become so puffed when someone praises us, and then we become so offended when someone criticizes us. Actually, the cause of this offense, of this suffering or too agitated state of mind comes from this self-cherishing mind.
아니 근데 도차지용이 소제래 도차지용이 그마저래 도차지용이 모여제래 야 도차지용이 다 뭐라 저시를 뭐 거거든 차소때 맞아 네가 리카치는 거는 도차도 차대요.
So yes, actually all of our problems come from this attachment here. And so out of attachment we kill, out of attachment we steal, out of attachment we create so many problems. So actually out of attachment that we have towards ourselves, then we engage in bad actions and bring so many problems.
Oh, I had a good question. So the question I just wanted to ask very quickly was, so one of my teachers once mentioned to me that there is letting go of all attachments is like a gradual thing, right? So letting go of attachments, it's a gradual thing, right? So first you might actually have some positive attachments along the way of like letting go. So let's say for instance I've like recently ordained, and I think certainly, I am cherishing my Sangha and my teachers a lot, right? So is there anything negative in sort of like this positive attachment while we're also on the way to this?
Chirtan ducha khale ani setu giresen sonsa nigela ya tagaran sonsa nyanga khare ko sonsa na ta ducha ya ani khale sele gi thapshi kare se tampu chakpi yul yakpola gyur ani chakpi yul yapochola cha ani penatandanga tanarang rajun drupsa ani inda ni karis ni chotogina da ni gelina danga chapa shukshin buiras ina moma chichina ni chapi yul tis dukcha yosare tanda chapi yul yap yosares o di gyura tadun chapi yul ani yona yans chapi yul yap ina tigitris
다때도 가서 노차제야 예 동화라 되기라라 예 동화지를 먹는데 그동 가서 도착이 님보다 니지 예 동화 그 뭐무슨 뭐도 봐 감바세 우리 뭐무슨 그랬어 그동안에 그 차바 본도 누가 저도 말했어 그래서 차바 시춘이 충분히 동거요 됐어 차바도 같이 시치와서 니그 아니 뇨다도 강가도 시치와요 됐어 데리 몸보지도 좀 도착을 되게 도착도 같이 시춘도다 only chabi chaba yore, jene chabi chaba, general chabi chaba yore, Ramada yura. You know, say chaba the machichuntuna, and the other. You know, Tomo chapa the Mozabuda.
Chape Yulia Poina Mena and Kemiduras, and Chapaquarani children's. Well, actually, even though if you change to the object, change of object of attachment, actually, and you're still attached to.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is to try to reduce your attachment. Don't change the object of attachment. Try to reduce attachment. So if you are still attached because they are nice and so forth, actually that's the function of attachment, isn't it? And so what we have to do is to contemplate or cultivate the mind that perceives the fault in that in the object of attachment, or to meditate, as usually they translate as meditate in the ugliness, or to meditate in the not nice aspects of the object of attachment. So this is what Karita, and so she's about to tease me, and so this is what we have to do here. So to really to see the negative aspects of the negative or the faults, a little bit faults of the aspect of the object of attachment, because it's always like attachment. It's always like attachment, isn't it? So and we have this attachment very strong, very present. First of all, attached to ourselves. And then after slowly we attach to other people here, other people then. So actually we have to reduce the strength of attachment, not necessarily object of attachment.
Interesting, thank you. Yeah, I can relate to that very well, because before I was ordained in Nepal at a Kagyu monastery, and then I was sent to India to study Tibetan. So first I was like, I don't want to leave, you know. So
But you are here asking me how can we reduce the strength of this attachment. But how can I tell you guys? Because I have so much attachment also here. It's strange, isn't it? Because my attachment here is really burning. And how can I tell you how to reduce this? It's strange, isn't it?
나도 정말 여러 질 나라 잡아 좀 저절에 나가 정말 매서도 따라가도 나 뭐로 잡아 배치 잡아 되게 뇨타가 될로도 아니 가는 게 되게 제요 바티 하고 나 도모 나서 도자 되게 뇨타고 가노 요바 하고 대하고는 용코 대해서 성도 도와서 지라라 균이 하마거든 디 가르치나 이 샤샤지야 되리나 아니 스스로도 내가 잡아 가노 뇨라가 되다
But yes, and so actually we can help each other. We can help each other in order to reduce our attachments here. Of course, for example, I also have so much attachment either to myself, to other things and so forth. But what we have actually is to try to reduce the strength, in the attachment that we have here. Otherwise, if we just let it go in the sense of we are attached and then just live like that, and then we carry on with this attachment. So actually we will not reduce the causes of our problems, and we always will be under any kind of suffering or unsatisfactory sensation.
아니 가서 다 노차지오디 지 파쇼도 열예도 모아지고 선호동 거래스 이나 파쇼 빼는 뭐지 있는데 잘라지나 그 예도 모아지 차서를 그런 요즘이 차서디 가서 또 예도 모아서 깨요 말아 파쇼 열로 열까지 해서요 말 그래 돈본 짐지마지나 그 짐무지 차요디 데 매바자게 탑시게요 이나다 소소를 상호야동 거래스.
So actually what we have to do is to change the mode of perceiving the object of attachment. So let's say that we are too attached to a very beautiful person. Well, if we consider that beautiful person not that beauty, not that handsome or not that beautiful person, well, the beautiful person will not change by itself just because we think it's not beautiful, isn't it? It will carry like that, has the same aspect. But at least we are changing the way of perceiving that person. If we change the way of perceiving that person, so the attachment will give rise after the perception, so it will also reduce. But it's not that just because we think it's not beautiful, so the object itself will change, out of our own thoughts, it's not like that.
But aren't we creating aversion if we start thinking that person
그냥
is not
글씨
beautiful
듣는
anymore?
듣는
Aren't we
시간에
saying,
삼로타나 아니 컨트롤스는도 this 컨트롤 라인이라 라인 말이에요.
control 가르노
글씨 듣는 시라고 대인지 보람인도지야메나 아니 이두미용에게 남바다와니 콜라미네 아니 그래서 아니 롱라이어 말이에요.
대다 따따지라 따기다기 지기를
Yes, it's good not to good.
사실 근데 요 이거 뭐하러 살로드는 생각 맞죠 차여서라 그래서 요 정지적이 로지아를 막
Yes, of course.
그거까지 하지랍니다
Yes, of course. It's good to measure and to see until
You know-
when don't create so much aversion. So.
이날 가서 차바가 뇨다 드셔서 치셔때 농거 세매지 노토도 그저 되레스 control되어 노토도 기요래 로샤되어 노토도 기요셔래 차도디 소마디 저데 노토드레스 노토 가서데 차바로는 것이 충분하래 컨트롤 것이 로메로시 충분하래 근데 저도 노토가 기대요레스
But what we have to understand now is the real key point here, is how this attachment, all of our attachment or anger and all of the bad sensations that we experience during the day, where they come from. Actually, they come from these creation thoughts, to this overthinking or ruminating, or the mind that, create all of the fantasies in our world. And so this mind actually that impels or that give rise to attachment or to anger and so forth.
다 노토스나 간에도 요래라나로 롱그 생겨는 소소로 고바통게 나 노게 고고통게 나 간에도 소소로 동요라나 모타칼라 라즈니까 모타칼로 안다 지소로 노토스 비자나 라즈니 모타칼로진 때데 뇨탈로 간테로 이닌데서 no send the literature.
So yes, actually the actual cause of all our problems, that because we create this, is this overthinking mind, this mind that really ruminate or create all the fantasies. So this very mind, or this talkative mind in our head here, they agitate us and they deceive us. It's a deceiving mind. Usually, how I perceive this talkative mind as like a drunk driver driving a car. Imagine a drunk driver driving a car. How I don't know how afraid or how very bad can be this experience if the driver of that car is drunk. Would you like, or what do you think? Like, it's not going to be very risky if you enter in a car that you have a drunk driver. Yeah, maybe they can just mistake the road and Likewise, when we are under the force of the overthinking mind, the talkative mind, we also take the wrong road. Okay, and this talkative or overthinking mind, how these arise?
용 카페 동바 동이 아따나 지 제노 삼로 드리지 바지 마사여라 나 섬게 니가 라방 드리지 트바이나
숨가수래.
그래
숨가수래. 말해 담보 가오.
동보페 소소 가보여사 소소가 전부 가보제사 그 맞지요 바지 이바데 큐니 먹가서
큐니 먹가서 제산 숨가?
삼바도페 동바 동이
알레 동바. 오케이.
그 섬가게 니가 큐르들이 지리 트바이나 소소 가보여사데 지트그래 생레 저발레 디발레 지선 다 가버면서 그 지트로 컨트롤해야 다 동바 조브 이게 그 지트나 제노로스 못이다.
Okay, so let's do a practice here. Let's visualize, let's recollect 3 people, okay? One that we really like, that give us, like very nice sensations, okay? Remember? Second, someone that we really don't like we just remember that person, like really creates some anger. And a third person that maybe is very ugly, is so ugly, scary, that when we look at the person, really brings us fear or so forth, okay? So now let's imagine that we are touching the first person. So if you are touching the first person, how we feel? Like we feel, oh, it's good, it's nice, isn't it? Like we have pleasant sensation. The second person, if you touch that person, what do you feel? Anger. And the third person that you touch, that very scary person that you touch, how you feel? It's him. He said it's me, but it's Yes, what do you think? Is there any difference? What do you think? There is any difference or not? Like maybe the person that you like, if you touch the person that you like so much that maybe you even like touch closer and closer, isn't it? You want to touch closer. And if you want to touch, or if you have to touch the second person, you hate so much that immediately you separate from that person. It's out of your anger. And then the third person that is so scary, so ugly and so scary, like when you're so afraid of even touching that person, even just touching the fingers in that person, isn't it? But actually, when you're touching those three people, actually the head of your four fingers they are touching just a piece of the arm of those three people, isn't it? It's just touching a small piece of both bodies, isn't it? But in the first example, like the person that you like, you have such a great sensation. The other give you such anger, so much anger. And the third one, like, give you so much fear and so forth. Why do you think is the difference? Because actually the action of physically touching is the same. Why do you think that there is this difference? So in the action of touching the person, you with your four fingers you're touching the small piece of the small piece of just the skin of the three people, right? So actually physically is not changing anything. There's no single difference, isn't it? Like besides of the very ugly face of the scary person. But in the hand and the arms, there's no single difference. But why? Why actually the difference that physically there's no difference? But touching a good or bad or so person, like gives you so much either attachment, so much anger, or so much fear. Where this difference resides on, or where this come from these overthinking and ruminating thoughts, okay? Fabricating thoughts. So because come from one's own mind, that this difference comes from one's own mind, so you have to understand that here, this mind has to be more relaxed. This mind you have to release, to lose a little bit, and not like don't criticize or don't think that actually all the pleasant or unpleasant sensation will come are coming from the outer object or from those three different people. So if you understand this, that all of these three different situations, actually this difference is coming from here, And so that's the reason that actually you have to put attention here, how to relax those overthinking mind and not to mind so much in external business, like don't criticize all the time external people.
Tene tani nga tongbo chi lai ma. Nga zo chuzo tsoma la pan tongge chunjo re la na ma gawa changdo tala ra. Ta chuzo yapa chunjo re la na diwa gawa changdo tala ra. Pe suzo gaba chango da. Di gaba chango ya keke yo ma resi. Nga chuzo tsoma nonge resi ya sila ba zini chuzo tsoma nongen changdo ma re. Nong soben changdo ma. Ta chuzo tsoma yapa resi ya kakila ne chuzo yapa changdo ma re. Kake cheba yo ma resi. Ko tsika dachi re ma to suzo lo nyewa kake do ma resi. Tandi samlo to wa ina suzo ka 다 지야 뭐지 야버려라 서서고 재미 노트북 도시다 나 야부여 살이라 서서 빅자지를 요 노트북 도다 다시 지레 마소선에 딜레이데레스 소마테 논도 노트북 비체데레스
So, just like I told you in the beginning today, if I tell all of you like how ugly and bad and so forth you are, you don't need to be unpleased. Why? Because actually it's just words. They are mere words. You're bad or ugly and so forth. Like you don't need to be offended or very sad and so forth for this. They are just mere words. Likewise, if I tell you, oh, you're great, you're beautiful and so forth, you don't need to be too much like praise and feeling that you are so awesome and so forth. Why? Because they are just mere words. My words don't affect just because I'm telling you guys that you're ugly, immediately your face will not be transformed to ugly. Or it's not because I'm saying that you are the best person or so beautiful. If you are not that beautiful, the face is not going to change to so beautiful. And so that's not the case. So are just mere words. Everything that comes after you hear my mere words that please you or that become you so puffed or transform you so in such a misery state or so offended so much, these actually who makes this unpleasant or pleasant sensation in your heart actually is this overthinking and self-creation mind. Okay.
I have a question. So if you are saying that the source of this feeling like bad when someone tells me something bad or good when someone tells me something good is about the selfish mind. So if we don't want to focus on the selfish mind, what should we focus on? Because like saying don't focus on the selfish mind, so it's like where should I put my attention?
Lasso ani ani ranchin siklisi this kanyel saman ranchin single jungiresra ani michi ngala du chalana nga sen pham to gires ani yapolana nga be halewa kipo cha ani kawani desna mi ranchin zingwa si ranchin zingla samlo matangna samlo mogona tendagela sonsa ani kare kola samlo tangu istetu
진zel라 살로마도 가라 살로도나
What do you think? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to ask a question too.
But
what I can say, so I actually ordained at Tyaga Monastery in Nepal, and there we practice a lot of meditation, right? So I think just sort of like the way I've learned it for myself is just when these things come up to recognize their existence, but also letting them go again, sort of like in the sense of like thinking about them as sort of like clouds that are just passing by, rather than clinging
And you also? She asked, right? And so what do you think? You can also share your own opinion about her question. Yes, all of us to share our own thoughts, I think is good.
I think that if the question is like, if we don't put that much attention to this attachments and to this talkative mind, what do we do with? This was the question. And I think my answer is like, we should put focus of the mind into thinking about maybe impermanence and empty nature of and absence of intrinsic existence. Absence of independent existence. And we should keep training in our mind to work in this way.
Someone else?
We could also think about what might be beneficial for other people. Like often this comes up in a conversation with a different person, and I just think about myself, but I could maybe also think, oh, what would help this person to reduce their suffering, or what would make this person happy?
Kola ni nakari chi nakari lana kola pintu yakshu kari yongiri se di chena chichana yang yapatus.
Yesterday, I thought that one person hurt me by words, and I just thinking about it, and at the one moment I understand that that's my selfish mind, and I try to remember what this person made good for me, and I found a lot of things that was really good for me. Maybe this understanding little bit increased my anger, but I think my selfish mind is growing up, and I don't know what to do with this. I'd like to decrease it, but anyway, it's going to be bigger.
If you think in that person that offended you, and even if you think that he helped you or he was good for you, and then you become even more angry and
maybe I feel more attachment to myself. Maybe Geshe Lharampa had the same
Experience.
Had the same experience, yes. You get the same experience when you understand your selfish mind and you want to decrease it, but instead of it, it's getting bigger.
ne penara kasara ne michingala ne duchada wala sonsra te kala ine lunta lansora ine anda pilcher ani nakarichi sonsana da ko yang ngala pento chunde chon sonsra yana kakala yangala yapu chon sons ani pento chon sonsra di tisa trena yaputus samson ina hakuma sonsa tis kensa chasos de kabla samlo tangi nie ranjezin shukcheru troso nga pe shukcheru pe chacheru ani tsutang lepson hakuma sakrisi kena de nyamyon yures
Yapo, so yapo.
Just something to add, because I thought about it a little bit now. I think also, like, I don't know what you think, but so I think also we have to become more used to observing our own mind and realizing, when we are, when these things come up. Because if you are standing on top of the mountain, you're kind of like very much in the middle of the emotion. But if you're standing next to the mountain and observing the mountain from afar, then there might be a fire, and you might be fine because you're observing.
Yapo, yapo. Very good, very good. This is some tonton chiton damadan dora. Chiton aso nomba son division no ma shewa ina. Ani jempe ke samba gongo re somre. Nimata jempe ke samba gom se te mombo chila lo ma shewa kanando. Di niko ko topshi kan do yonati te to na yabu yores.
Well, actually, it's very good. All of you guys, all of your thoughts and so forth. Why? Because actually we don't have to just think about what is in the scriptures or what the psychological texts say and so forth. Why? Because sometimes many of the guidance of the scriptures, many of the suggestions that, for example, Buddha gave us, is not. they don't we don't accept or we don't receive so well sometimes, isn't it? So they are not beneficial. But the most beneficial is whatever has to be practical, put in the practice, in the daily routine, and to be beneficial, to be benefited in that moment. For this reason, we have to be practical and have to see whatever was beneficial for us in those moments.
Geshe Lharampa tiro dembano sore londo. Tiro dembani tata ki pato tiro demba tata ki pato la dili haka jongsamge je pache machong resungda. Busan jong disungda. De dino kara sore da de shenji dinga da yonda jiba machong na.
Da de shenji.
Dinga da yida jiba machong na soji nyen mata korana dia me. Rangi dewa to shenji dinga ni jil je mata ki parte. Sawa ni di dewa tele thumdu la res. Uti de ron chense sawa samezo wala dati jengi dinga jiba jumbu yoresi. Jize atako jengi dinga rona le atarongi diwa jele te atako yomati somo joro dongu yoresi.
Yes, and also like we have in the scriptures so many commentaries or thoughts about so amazing scholars, right? For example, we have the Indian scholar, the Indian Pandita Shantideva from the 7th century. So whatever he wrote in his books and in his speeches is even very practical and has lots of benefit until today, until these times. It's not that I changed just because of the centuries and so forth, right? But so to recollect and to reflect on his teachings and on his advices, I think it's also very important, very good. For example, one of the things that Shantideva said in the Bodhisattva's Way of Life book that he spoke and he taught was that all of us we'll never achieve our really lasting happiness if you don't exchange our happiness to others, and if you don't exchange our sufferings also with others. This doesn't mean, he didn't mean that we have to give our happiness to others and take the suffering of others to us. It's not like that. It's not like that. The point is to change our thoughts, to change the way of perceiving, to give more importance to the happiness of others, and to give less and to give less importance to our own happiness.
Kati jamba to tsiwa lasam, jela mubi jamba tsiwa lasarda. Tandi shi chimbo yosa chitong, jela mubi pe chato kongro ngajo shi chimbo niya yona, pena machi la jina zipa top chimbo ni yabu yosa chitong, yo zipa tezi kyobu yoba jina char chiba re la. Da ma zipa tezi kyobu nawi kezela naza chunchu chile na, teka lasa naza chimbo chile, kango chimbo chile. Da zipa top chimbo yosa china, 그 나자 춘주 집에나요. 참아도 지지는 샤라샤라게 제도 말아 지부터. 되노제 같이나 랑신세도 만세도 다 초도도 뭐요. 근데 그 시기용께서나 매직이 춘주 지라는 러사코 컨트롤해 버렸어. 그래서는 지부터 제가 지부터 버틸라 나자 춘주 지래는 러사 나자 시점 벌는도. 어떻게 버렸어. 다 jamba도 지와 진의 선비그 jam바도 지와 용께서나 강을 춘주지라는 러서 동네 제도에서 각게 동말을 다시 습부터 첨부지라 나자 춘주지와는 각게 제도 말아 어디도 지발에 세네 고선 좋대습니다.
And also His Holiness Dalai Lama keeps telling us that actually the importance of really cultivating love, compassion and understanding. 참새 땅가리신바?
잠바지와 니지라더라.
Ninjilase. Yes, and so the importance of cultivating love, compassion, understanding with others. Why? Because this is actually the tool that will bring us strength, inner strength, to cultivate love, compassion, understanding. It's just like, when a person is very weak and another person very strong. When the weak person with the low human system and so forth, and so when just a little sickness or just a little cold or flu pops up in this very weak person, that person really is devastated for many days, I'm with a very strong flu and so forth, but actually it's just a flu. And the very strong person, the very strong or with an amazing human system or health and so forth, even if a very strong disease come to that person can can deal with that very big disease. Likewise, when the person doesn't cultivate so much love, compassion, and so forth, and carry on with the very strong selfish mind here, so with a very tiny problem, when that person encounters or meet with a very tiny problem, what that person feels, devastated, is a huge problem, and so forth. But when the person cultivates so much, really train himself with that mind of understanding, love, compassion, thinking in others and to benefit others and so forth, even when that person meets such a big, huge problem, then that person will know how to deal with the problems. Why? Because the mind of love, compassion, and altruism, like benefiting others, is very strong. So usually His Holiness give us this advice.
jen tsawa chimbo soto wa ina pena soso ga tsawa chimbo pe gapo chesa tsawa chimbo che machi yorwa temi de ko tsinge de ja karla na ka ke che mare da I kar zina jen pe ka sono pashotola soso ga tsiwa yo pato soso ga pashotola gapo yo pe jimse ki re ma to je tsichi ba chi kyor machi ko la tsinge je za jen ba la tsichi ba chi kyor imala ma soso ga pa ya pa chesa gapo chesa kar ya pa chesa te tsinge ga zela na
Yes, and so it's very important to understand that actually whatever the person hears from others, listen from others, actually it's not that so important. We don't have to put so much attention in this. Either, for example, if the person says something very nice to us, if the person says something very nice to us, immediately you become so happy. Like, we don't have to be like that. Like, just because the person actually telling us very pleasant thing because they like us, because they are our friends, just because of like that. And so we don't need to, feel too praised or feel too important just out of nice words, because the nice words come usually just from friends.
But
if we really think that if you really act and live under that altruistic mind, or that mind that want to benefit others, even if the person is trying to offend us and so forth, we will not be harmed. We don't feel harm. And either if the person pleased us or thanks us and so forth, because we are really driven out of the benefit of others, and so we also don't feel too puffed because it's just out of the others' benefit that we are acting like that.
How we do, like when somebody is listening, that okay, I feel like your comment is nice. How has to be the attitude? Like I have to reject, and I have to just think about, be aware. How can be the attitude to really be a bit more detached, because just come, okay, it's nice, like saying wow, it's just reaction that you don't decide, just come this happiness.
Yani michi nganso tura tampe di tsera kandres da be sim kipo nchaya mare zinda ya podu chichi inda nga pegazzaretta ya da ya podus diki dos ya podu kipo da dima sonsani kipo do chichi ya mena chapo chichi bo makina kandres shigire
mara majigi cho ya podu chobo ya pore lana ko chobo lara majigi cho de cha do ne opostora
yes, if someone praise you or say, hey, how nice you are, it's nice, isn't it? And then the following day, oh, how bad you are, it's awful, isn't it?
Magic Toba piece on a Yapandola and Samachigia Kayomar, Suzokarin, Tisamba Migo. Dimanina, Magic Yapando, that you put Chamucho Yapando, kitchen choy bit. Churchuma, Chumuma, in Tokan, Chuma Chujana, your number of child, your pit of child, kitchen choy.
So that's why, Tiramaga, that's why we there is that verse that says, don't feel attached to praising and don't dislike the critics. It's very important to do this because actually, even if someone is praising us, like there is no point to feel puffed. And also just because someone is criticizing us, there is no point to feel completely reject and the worst person in the world. Like there is no point of this, right? So just think that they're just word doesn't transform. These words don't transform myself, transform me in those good or bad words, okay? And just like let's say that if someone comes and invites you to come with me and let's jump from this very high building, because if you jump from a very high building, you become a very good person. You be very well remembered or very well person. If just because they say like that, would you jump the building?
Te ngaso karana moke yaparelana so sambati de nigores. Bicharelana sambati de nigores. Yaparela losa gachocho. Bicharelana losa dichocho de so macho aseles. Yaparela gete ke o kro yapare ngone malayapo terapia kro yapare sani. So ronsala nigores. Bicharelana atakor linea chasa linea resa ajma. So jato mene. Ronk semba de tempo ni na kanga karina tigo donle chetores. Te maina yapadare ya
So what we have to do is the way is really to be very stable in our way of thinking and perceiving first of all yourself. So just because people are praising you, like I'm praising you, yes, that this person is saying very nice things. Yes, good for the person that is saying something good. Not is good for me. It's not like that. I don't change myself just because I'm having these nice words. Likewise, if someone is scolding me and so forth, it's okay. The person is just out of their hatred or out of their dislike. They are telling me these kind of things. I don't transform myself in bad just because they are telling me this. And so you have to be very stable in your own values and in your own what you are, and so you don't move according to the opinions of others. Otherwise, like just because they are praising or because they are criticizing and so forth, and then your mind keep changing and fluctuating on the top of the others' opinion. So that's not good, because actually this fluctuation out of others' opinion is what brings you actually the unhealthy state of mind.
How to study Zen? How to study Zen? So when you have some evaluation, you also see as a mirror in other people how your creativity has been realized, and then you can see some other reactions, understanding. That's not immediately attachment, but you can understand what is how to develop better, to bring more bodhicitta to people. Yeah, when you praise people, you bring some or evaluate them well and in a good way. Then it could be another good things to do, because you will show them what they can do good. So how? So that's the okay. Just if you say praise is not good, I don't feel agreed with this. So that's a question.
Ani tora taya ya po mindus tanda gela sonsa. Ani ine amperna. Mishemba ya po ngalamnara. Kilsi consola ya po kira ya po tu shi kira ta ngene mizambores kola tora tangnara. Kora tana chitanjina ko ti kelena ko yangani kale zar patro. Ani ti ngone janju sempeki ze parang resra. Ne nyamlen tra resra ine antanda gela dison sasta tora tana semindu tora rana yangs ya pomindus gela gison sa dinga mitun mes kesenada ani mishemba ni pento yoenchidus ngatora tangius ani tanda de kabla karichi gores
tora tona to ya pomela to yomata maga tora tonra so ya pi to mi so hakora ani so ya pi na ko ji maga tora tonla te ngashabichi isa ti go manes amago meratona nga digya chima so kari so hakora so yapre to remido na korotaro ome yapache korgija tomushe shase diares ani so maga meratona so member remido ta reyona ngone debares 맞아 마가게요 말이지. 어떤 디제를 맞아 기도니 테라토와도 야고 뭐 테라토와도 그럼 계주라래 야보지. 이나 소속 테라토와 노제 소소를 요때 요미요도 공부시야 노제 요미요 딱 그랬지. 이 연아 소소요 야타지 아타코시야 노제 가로 덴바레션 빅샤 가로 야보 종샤스스 마도 이 시버지 이상 그 소모들이야 말이야.
I didn't say that actually to praise others is bad. I never said this. What I said is when someone is praising us, we don't have to fluctuate. We don't have to move our opinion about ourselves out of others' opinion, in the sense of just because they are praising us, oh, so I am good. No, one has to know about oneself. Like one really have to be aware of one's own quality and faults, and who am I, and which qualities and faults do I have, and so forth. So if someone is praising me and I'm not like that, or yes, I already know that I'm not, it's fine. Like you don't need to, there's no reason to be too puffed and to feel in, yes, of course I am like that, and so forth. There's no reason to feel like that, like, because you know exactly. And likewise, if someone is criticizing you, there is no need to feel, like bad and the lowest in the entire universe and so forth, just because someone is criticizing you, because you know who you are and so forth. So that's the point, like not to puffing yourself too much or to feeling worse too much, because you know who you are. That's the reason. That's what I meant, like how to react towards towards the praising and criticism and so forth. Yankachitus and Idinala Yanchitus.
Okay, this is a question.
Yes, let me just read here. Yeah, before Amanda has something. Yeah, we already answered Amanda's question. Okay.
So to be centered and to know who am I. The question is, who am I? Who am I means to be really centered, say, don't be fluctuated from this and that. Where is this center? Who am I?
Yes, he also said something that I forgot to translate. Thank you. That he said something that is, if someone is praising you and you know your qualities, you know, yes, I have this quality because I know my qualities. So yes, I have this quality, and so I don't need to be puffed just because of something that I know what I have here. And if someone is criticizing and we don't have that critique, we don't have that fault, so yeah, he just doesn't know, and that's it. And if we know that we have that fault, then there is also not a need to be unpleased, because it's a truth. If someone is just pointing one truth, yes, I don't have that quality, or yes, I have this fault, and that's it. Just to be aware of one's own quality and to be aware of one's own faults. Okay, so gena this so so yonden tang kyon la so pani so hago gores gela gi so sa kandis hago gore so kyon te yonden kandis hago gores
랑그를 유테네 랑가 하고라.
Yes, we know how to think, isn't it? And so we have to reflect honestly with ourselves, with, oh yes, I have this quality or I have this fault. And so this just oneself can do. Nobody else can do for oneself. For example, for example, I know whatever I have of quality of studies and so forth, and I know my faults also. I know my problems and my faults. For example, I know that I don't know English. I know that I am weak in languages. So for example, now sometimes you laugh. I don't know what you're laughing about. I have this problem. I have this fault of not knowing one language.
Okay,
This is the
so
Janam. This is
Question about enlightenment, I think.
Oh, and so now we are already 15 minutes ahead of our time.
There was a question about enlightenment. Very good question.
이는 굳이
why
굳이
people
가르치는
look
것을
for
자만히 잔줍두고리스. 아니 가르치는 것을 자만히 상기 상고 반토코리스.
아니, 성직부터 들어요.
강원에 티와딩 강원에 잉예스.
이해도 돼서 이제. 나가 성직 토토가 가르rel라나라. 이들이 소이라. 조속간다 추제도 디지니가 미치. 리에치널이 소리. 하거라. 가르스나 상직가 농그 생겨 세리도 또 나르서 생겨 세리니 직바 직교래라 그랬어. 이게 가르게 쳐버지려나 나서 촌로로 드바니 먹고 요사요 그랬어. 소소가 지금 생겨 세리도 드바니 먹기 도 잡고는 맞아. 뒤도 매바서 상지래서 그랬어. 이 매바서 토하고 덮시 요랬어. 요아 가르는 땅가 동본 소이 봐. 이 지체기 지와를 미타 바람 지치는 요아 동 요랬어. 그래서 이 전에 와서 상지예요. 그래서 그랬어.
So why to become enlightened? Why to become Buddha? Well, actually, first of all of us and all of Buddhas, we have exactly the same essence of Buddhahood. We can say of Buddhahood, or we have the same potential to become enlightened. And why you're not enlightened still? Because we are still like plenty of obscurations, the cognitive and afflictive obscurations. But in resume, what means to become completely plenty of obscurations? Like we still have many stains in our mind and heart that don't allow us to really understand the things properly and so forth, and then that's a reason that we suffer. And as long as we can clean these stains, as long as we can clean this suffering, this ignorance and these sufferings and so forth, then we are enlightened. So enlightenment is a person just like us without these sufferings and without these obscurations. That's the reason that there is a point to become enlightened. Okay. And so let's just finish. We can. Yes, let's just finish also, because since 8 a.m. in the morning, just today, and this whole week, he has been very kindly teaching to all of us morning, night time, and today 8 to 9, 10 to 12:30. And then now 3 to almost 5 o'clock, and he's about to go to South now after 2 hours. And so I think it's a good ending also. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye, Yanchen. Bye, Yanchen. Tista. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Tista.